His name is Bob Howard. Let's bring him onto the road if you can.
Thank you. What a nice welcome. Thank you. Well, tonight we've kind of got the white-collar comedy tour. We got an attorney, an airline pilot, a used car salesman, sort of a shyster, an alcoholic, and another shyster. So we have 2 rules for success on the white-collar comedy tour. If you want to be a successful comic, rule number 1, get a really good day job. Rule number 2, never give up the really good day job. I always like to start off with a question of legal philosophy. If an attorney says something in the courtroom and the judge doesn't hear him, is he still lying? I do acquisitions, divestitures, real estate transfers, a little bit of estate planning. You would call me a divorce attorney. Unless, of course, you've actually been through a divorce, in which case you'd call me a money-sucking bottom feeder or so, I just tell people I do anti-family law. You might have seen my billboards around town. We divorce ugly spouses. Sell you an ugly house and clean your ugly pool too, I'm telling you, that's just some of the things we do. Oh, and right now, our law firm has a special. We're doing gift cards. They come in $2,500 increments. Because nothing says I love you like prepaid litigation. I used to be referred to as a DR attorney because that's the way we numbered cases in Maricopa County. We put DR and then the number standing for domestic relations. And then a few years ago, they came up with a new numbering system. So now they number them FC for families with children or FN, families no children. So I went from being a DR attorney to just one more FN attorney. Statistically, they're telling us now that about 53% of marriages will end in divorce, which basically means that the other 47% end in medical annulment. Politically correct way to say death, So I tell people I'm in the business of affirming life. I actually practice in Scottsdale, which is one of the country's divorce capitals. We're actually number 9 in divorces per capita in Scottsdale, which I always found interesting because Scottsdale says it's one of America's most livable cities. But nobody can stand one another. I think we've gotten a little too politically correct in this country. I was at a charitable fundraiser last month, and the minister got up to do an invocation. And we're all standing, and instead of just saying, please bow your heads, he says, please assume a position of prayer. I mean, okay for me, I'm Presbyterian, but the 3 Muslim guys on the floor look kind of pissed. The atheist sat down, used up all the salad dressing. So I don't know why we're so politically correct. Garbage men are sanitation engineers, bus drivers, transportation managers, lawyers are slime balls. You were thinking it, right? So anyway, for the rest of the evening, please assume a position of humor. Yeah, that's good, right there. Yeah, okay. You probably heard of Goldberg and Osborne, the eagle. I'm with Jekyll and Howard, the beagle. If we're on the case, you can be sure it's a real dog. By the time we get done, you'll feel like you've been spayed, neutered, and blow-dried. Our motto is, why go someplace else to be overcharged? We can do it right here, right now. We are a very caring law firm, though. Every year we adopt a poor family for Christmas. But you got to call in really early in Scottsdale, or both of those families are taken. People call up and they want to know if they can have an initial free consultation. Would you ask a hooker for an initial free consultation? We're in the same union. This is why the Bar Association frowns on attorneys having sex with their clients. I think it's fundamentally unfair to charge twice for essentially the same service. I bill by the hour, my clients pay through the nose, and I haven't returned a phone call in 14 years. There's one good thing about billing by the hour. You get really good at estimating your own time. I've been up here now, about 3.5 hours? I was going to hand out cards tonight, but I passed an accident on the way over, and I had to throw them out the window as I drove by. So. Not to worry, it wasn't that bad an accident. My airbag did not inflate, so. People going through a divorce, though, they're downright hostile. I have been kicked, spat on, had death threats. That was just my clients. Yeah, I learned early on you shouldn't trade legal services for kinky sex. Then I started representing women, too. People going through a divorce, they fight over everything. I see 5 people a week who want to know how to divide up the spice rack. It's not that difficult. Husband gets basil to oregano, the wife gets paprika to vanilla extract. I get the rack. People ask if my business slows down during a recession. Anything that stresses out the American family puts a line at my door, so no, not really. The only time my business ever slowed down was in the late 70s, early 80s. You remember when people were just living together? Thank God for the return to family values. When Miss America is out there preaching abstinence, to me, that's business development. I was reading a few weeks ago, they're doing studies again, though, that says the divorce rate is dropping again, and guess what? People are living together again. So let me see if I've got this right. Straight people want to live together, and gay people want to get married. What's wrong with this picture? Big controversy about gay people getting married. I say let them get married. Why shouldn't gay people be just as miserable as straight people? Besides, as a divorce attorney, opens up a whole new market. You got gay people in the house? Okay. Oh, yeah. Now, I'm not unmindful of the long-range implications of what I do. I'm also a part-time judge, so I can do weddings. Try to do 15 or 20 a year, throw one back in the swamp for the next guy. It's sort of a divorce attorney catch and release program. Someone asked me, have you ever done a wedding and then did a divorce for the same couple? Hey, it's not Arkansas. We don't marry our sisters, come on. Almost did an emergency wedding a few weeks ago. A DJ friend of mine called up and he said that the priest hadn't shown up for the wedding. Apparently he got delayed at the kid's birthday party. Okay, this part of the room get it yet? Okay, all right. So I said, sure, I can come over and do the wedding. He said, what do you charge for doing a wedding? I said, well, $150. He said, what do you charge for doing that stand-up act? Oh, $100. Comes back on the line, he says, come on over and do the stand-up act. They're going to live together. Crazy. A lot of people ask, how'd you get into doing stand-up comedy? How does an attorney become a comedian? I don't know. How does an idiot become president? Don't get too excited. I wrote that joke during the Clinton administration. Yeah, joke that works for 10 years. Priceless, yes. I've been doing stand-up comedy about 12, 13 years. I've played all the big venues in town. I was at the Star Theater, which is now closed. I played TGI Fridays, the Friday Night Funnies in the Galleria, which is now closed. I was at the Comedy Barn, burned down. I played this Presbyterian church. It became a Buddhist temple. Then it closed, and then it burned down. So this is the point in the evening where we point out the fire exits, just in case. The comedians will be going out this way, you go that way, okay? But I'm pretty happy with the way my career's been going. In fact, I got a call this afternoon, I got a big announcement. I'm going to Vegas. Woo! And from what they tell me, the timeshare presentation only lasts for about 2 hours. 2 tickets to the buffet and free porn. Hey, I'm there. No, but you get to play a lot of venues all over the state. Last month, Bruce Hepler and I were up at the Assisted Living Center in Heber. Hey, we killed. Oh, but face it, ladies, now this is a nice place, but nobody took out a second mortgage for this date, did they? Gals, if they had the big bucks, you'd be up in Vegas at the Mirage watching Danny Gans impersonate Siegfried pulling Roy out of his ass. Not that there's anything wrong with that, Hey, I'm politically correct. I read John Gray's book. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, gays just want Uranus. It was an alternative bookstore, yeah. But you're not in Vegas at the Mirage, ladies, are you? You're in Ahwatukee at the golf club, and it's... Let's face it, on the big screen cinema of life, you're at the bargain matinee with the $1 refill cup and the ugly t-shirt that gets you the free popcorn. But we appreciate you coming out. I'm also a family man. I've been married 30 years. Yeah. 16 to the first wife, 14 to the second. They actually did a movie about my first marriage. You may have seen it, The Bipolar Express. We used to have bipolar sex. She was frozen shut at both ends. Orgasms, I just wish she would have faked consciousness. I did a full tour of duty and never saw any action at all. I was actually named most celibate person in Maricopa County, 1985 and 87. Kind of proud of that. I beat 2 priests and a handicapped nun. Yeah, it's no big deal now, but back then the church was screening for pedophiles. Come on. And I had heard about all the pain and suffering and the trauma of a divorce, and I'm here to tell you, I didn't think the attorney's fees were really that bad. Gave myself a 10% discount for cash. So, yeah. And I did pretty good in my divorce. I got to keep half of my clothes. We split the house. I got the outside. She got 2 cars, the boat, the big screen TV, the spice rack. I learned a valuable lesson by representing myself, though. Next time, I'm just going to hire Robert Blake to take her to dinner. Remember Robert Blake, when he was Beretta, he used to say, "Don't do the crime if you can't do the time." Then he gets off, and so what does he say now? Just because I'm rich, I can shoot the person I'm married to. Yeah. So I was a little depressed after getting divorced, and I put in a claim on my disability insurance policy. The insurance company writes back, and they said that ethically challenged is not a disability. In fact, they felt it would increase my earning capacity. And I bounced back. I found myself an aerobics instructor. She does high impact, low impact, step, slide, spinning. I just try to lay really still until she gets done. Nearly died the night she wanted to do lunges. If I can just get her to take off the leotard. She took one look at me and said, "You need exercise." I knew there was only one way I was going to get a hard body, so I married hers. Who knew they were going to come out with Levitra bath salts, you know? You know what they call it when an attorney renders legal services while under the influence of Levitra? Pro bono. Did you see those first commercials for Levitra? The guy's going out to mow his lawn, and he sees the football in the box, and he picks it up, and out there, There's a tire hanging from the tree, perfectly stationary. He tries to throw that football right through the middle of the tire. Of course, he misses. Now the commercial switches. Levitra, fast-acting, long-lasting, great, wah, wah, wah. Comes back. This tire's swinging back and forth about 35 miles an hour. He's pumping it through the hole 5, 6, 7 times. You think the symbolism could be just a little bit more subtle? Train going through a tunnel, day trip to the Washington Monument, something like that. I gotta tell you though, that commercial has had a very long-lasting effect on me. I always take Levitra now, right before I go out to play football. My second wife and I, we got married in Scottsdale, and we were driving up to Sedona for the honeymoon. And I was feeling a little frisky on the way up. I reached over and put my hand on her knee. She looks at me and says, "Honey, we're married now. You can go a whole lot further than that." Hell, I drove on up to Flagstaff. A lot of people think that the basis for a really good marriage is equality in all things. We call those people divorced. The basis for a good marriage is when the husband realizes that no matter how much money he contributes, no matter what he does to keep the standard of living up there, he's going to be judged on whether he cleans up after himself. Right? Dirty dishes in the sink are the leading cause of domestic violence in the home. I have a little story that kind of illustrates this in my own marriage. Every year for our birthdays, we each give ourselves some gifts. And I usually give her like jewelry or clothing. And she usually gives me a book because apparently I have a lot to learn. She gave me a book this year. And, did you ever think about the fact that there are some things that you have very long discussions about after you get married that prior to the marriage you didn't think you would ever discuss at all? We're going to illustrate right now. If I could get a show of hands, gentlemen, how many of you do not floss your teeth every day? Okay. And do you guys kiss your girlfriends with those mouths? Some guy back here said no, just his wife. I got cards out on the roadway here. You're going to need... anyway. All right. Ladies, can we agree that flossing every day is a good thing? See? All right. That's what I thought. Now, let me ask another question. Of you guys who do floss every day, how many of you floss with your mouths open? And that's because we want to see where the string goes between the teeth, right? But what happens when you pull the string out? Tiny little food particles are launched at the speed of light. The only thing that keeps them from becoming part of a George Lucas space trilogy is the bathroom mirror, right? So over time, a lot of little food particles start to congeal on the bathroom mirror, right? Well, we have a typical Scottsdale marriage. We split the chores. I pay for the gardener, she pays for the housekeeper. Housekeeper comes every 2 weeks, she cleans the mirror, so I don't feel a need to Windex after every meal. Now let me be sure you understand the picture here. We got a big bathroom, I got my sink, she's got her sink, the mirror is all over the wall. One would think that a few little pieces of food on the mirror over here wouldn't bother over here. One would be wrong. Apparently, one of my major sins is that I floss with my mouth open. Who knew? I hid it so well when we were dating. The book she gave me for my birthday, Flossing for Dummies. Maybe not hilarious, but for me, therapy, okay? You ever read the government studies? I always like to read these studies because I'm paying for them. I might as well see if I can get some information out of them that might help me a little bit. And they did a study not too long ago, ladies, on hormone replacement therapy. And what they found is that women who take hormone replacement therapy are more likely to have early onset dementia. You know what they didn't tell you? The women that don't take it, the husbands have immediate onset dementia. I'm telling you, that menopause is like a cross between mad cow disease, West Nile virus, and SARS. My wife went through that. You know, she had all the classic symptoms. You know, the vaginal dryness, hot flashes, uncontrollable credit card spending. That was terrible. There was another study that they did, and they asked people, would you rather have great sex in a dirty house or average sex in a really clean house? And kind of surprisingly to me, most people said average sex, clean house. So I'm telling this to my wife, and she says, that's a bunch of jazz, and I need to take out the garbage when I got done with the vacuum cleaning. You know, a lot of guys complain that their wives just lay there during sex and don't do anything at all. My wife's not like that at all. She crochets. There was another study I was reading, and this study said that most single women these days are dating men that are 20 years younger than they are. Yeah. You know, this was really useful information to me. That means I need to stay married, because the last thing I want is to have 74-year-old women hitting on me. I've already got it planned, though. My wife ever leaves me, I'm moving to that neighborhood where all the desperate housewives live, you know? Paradise Valley. What, did you think I was going to say Gilbert? Come on. Now, those desperate housewives, they're really hot, you know? They're so young, they're still using sex as a weapon. My age, I use sex as a punishment. My wife was spending a little bit too much on the credit card, so I told her if she kept spending that much, we were going to have sex twice this quarter. She closed the account. Understand we have some birthdays here tonight, some people hitting their 50s, 60s. Yeah, that's my age. Okay. Two things that come with that age: short-term memory loss, and you're going to need reading glasses wherever you go. And then there's short-term memory loss. It's weird what happens to you as you get older, though. Remember I said I went up to Heber for the assisted living show, and I stopped in Payson on the way to get a meal, you know, some food, a drink, and everything. And son of a gun, if I didn't get carded, they wanted to give me the senior discount. I had to prove I was under 55. I was telling my wife, you know, we really are getting older. She says, I'm not getting older. I'm closer to 50 than 60. I said, yeah, but you're going in the wrong direction. She stopped cooking. There's no more sex, and she hid the remote. The joke's on her. I could never remember where the remote was anyway. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up here with a little bit of a marketing survey I always like to do. If I could get a show of hands, how many of you have actually been through a divorce? Okay, a few? All right. How many of you are currently married? Okay. And how many of you are thinking about getting a divorce? With the exception of my wife, who has her hand up there. Anyone who has their hand up gets an initial free consultation. My name's Bob Howard. Thank you very much.
That's right. Let's hear it for Bob Howard. All right. I didn't bring my wife with me, so I'll be looking for that free consultation soon. So that's right. Bob said that I'm an airline pilot. That's correct. 32 years, 23,000 hours, and if we'd have been on time today, it would have been the third time I can remember. Come on, you know, we get around. But you know, I just got in. I live here in Ahwatukee, and I love to fly at night because I fly at night because I found out what Ahwatukee means in Indian. It means big, ugly cul-de-sac. Yeah. Driving in and out of here, I just hang around in my closet with my wings wrapped around me till my fangs come out, and then I go fly. Actually, I just flew in from San Francisco, that little city out by the bay where they don't let blondes wear miniskirts because their balls will show. I have to tell you, all the fruits and nuts do not hang in the trees out there. I dropped my rental car keys. I had to kick them all the way to Oakland before I felt really good about picking them up. I'm thinking maybe next time I'll get 2 sets of keys. No. Actually, there's a lot of things going on in San Francisco. Everybody's getting tattoos. So I thought, hey, a tattoo? I could get a tattoo just like everybody else. I thought maybe go in and get one of those little dragons right here above my butt, because it's been what it's been doing all week. Then when I bend over at the house doing electrical stuff and stick my screwdriver there, you know, and my wife says no to crack. I don't know, that's just an idea. No, but I did go in to get a tattoo, and I thought, hey, you know, what can I get? I know, I'll get a $100 bill tattooed on my you-know-what, because I love to play with my money, I love to watch it grow, and nobody can blow $100 faster than my wife. All right. Okay, I've only seen it say $10. But next month, we're trying to blow 1,000. And I think we could blow 1,000 if we just really tried, no problem. No, speaking of my wife, I called her, told her I was coming over here to perform. She said, how long are they giving you? I said, oh, about 20 minutes or so. She said, don't they know that's 19 more than you need? We do have 3 boys. I'm not sure how that happened, because as an airline pilot, I am required to pull out on time every time. No, we've been together for 27 years and married for 26 of it, and that says a lot in my industry, because we're really into whirlwind romances. That's where your wife shows up like a tornado. She's all wet, she's wild, she's blowing up a storm. She doesn't last very long, just like a tornado, and when she leaves, she takes your house and car, just like a tornado. So when I have a new house and a new car, I'll be ready to date. I'm just sure I will. Now, I asked her what she was doing. She said, oh, I'm making some of those greeting cards that I make. She stamps greeting cards. I said, oh, really? Like the one I got from the boys last Father's Day that said, Dad, you're the bastion of the family. We love you dearly. You're all our money. You're everything to us. Whoop, happy Father's Day. So I said, dear, with all the adversity in the world today, why don't you make some cards that are realistic, some reality show cards? Like maybe, Dad, you beat Mom, you beat the dog, you beat us, but nobody beats you. Whoop, happy Father's Day. Or maybe, Mom, remember the last Mother's Day you were sober? Whoop, neither do we. Or maybe, Grandpa, you've touched us in so many ways. It might be legal in 49 other states. So yeah, we don't have a, So Bob talked about divorce. We don't have any monopoly on divorce in our industry. Half of all marriages end in divorce, and the airline industry is about the same. Except here in Arizona, we have something very unique. When the couple goes into the divorce court, the judge looks at the minor children and says, would you like to live with your mom or your dad? And they think about it for a minute and go, neither one, Your Honor. We'd like to live with the Arizona Cardinals because they don't beat anybody. I just got to wonder why we call them the Cardinals. We don't have a single one in the state. But maybe we should call them the Arizona Snowbirds and Penn and Winnebago on the side of their helmet. We have a lot of those. Or maybe the Arizona Illegals and paint a hubcap there. That'd give a whole new name to stealing the ball. I gotta tell you. Oh, but we're building them a new stadium. No. They will probably play a lot better when we build them that new stadium, because, and the nice thing, the unique thing about that stadium is, the whole damn field slides out. So at halftime, if they're not playing good, slide them the hell out. I would say just fill it up with water and let's have boat races. Something like that. Of course, now they have the mean bird. Oh no, the Cardinal's now a mean-looking bird. I saw the mean bird the other day when I cut somebody off driving to FedEx to mail his box. That's the mean bird, and it comes out pretty darn quick. Get that mean bird and put it on the side of the helmet. That'd be a good one. Maybe. I've looked around the airline industry, and I've looked around at people, and I've decided that the airline industry is actually starting to shrink. But people are actually starting to grow. So I'm thinking that this isn't just airline food, this is just food. So I decided that maybe I should start up a new airline. And we're going to start up in bankruptcy so we don't have to go there later. I think that, and if we can't make our bills with 50 airplanes, my God, we'll buy another 50. We'll show them. That'll do it. But when you walk up to the counter, instead of weighing your bag, we're going to actually weigh you. And when it says one at a time, please, you know you may not be going. You might have to go as cargo. So what we're going to do is we're going to charge people by the pound to fly, but I thought, by the pound air. That's so hard to remember. So the people that are making money are shipping stuff and all that other crap. So let's just ship you, and let's be the FedEx for fat asses. So let's call ourselves Fat Ass Air. But you gotta kind of watch it when you abbreviate that because it's FAA and somebody already has that. I can just imagine my announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your fat ass captain. I'd like to welcome all of you aboard Fat Ass Flight 1252-7212-34125. Jumbo Jet Service from Phoenix, Arizona to Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Now tonight that flight is going to take us 6 hours, and you might think that's a little longer than normal. But we looked at the charts and we looked at the maps. We got to go around the Rockies. We can't top them. Yeah, that's when the announcement is up front. Tonight is Big Bertha. Over wing is Fat Bastard. And I'll be servicing you in the rear. My name is Richard. Just call me Dick. Don't bring me anything you've already opened, okay, Dick? I mean, I like you and everything. But the thing is, we have to find a catchphrase that everybody will remember us by in the industry. Now, Continentals used to be, we really move our tail for you. Well, maybe we really move our fat ass for you. Or maybe like Delta, is we love to fly and it shows. Maybe we love to deep fry and it shows. Or maybe the one that needs no introduction whatsoever, dink, you are now free to move your fat ass around the country. I can just see our billboard. The more you weigh, the more you pay. Or maybe your fat is our bread and butter. Or how about if you don't fit in the bus, come on and fly with us. Yeah. And the one thing we're not going to skip at Fat Ass Air is dessert. I had a bunch of people ask me for it. I think it's in the in-flight meal on our first maiden flight. So you hang on, we'll have dessert for you. Boy, because we want you to weigh more the next time you fly. Yes, we're going to have in-flight meals served by McDonald's because we know that makes you obese, because they're already doing studies about that. So, but my wife said, your clothes aren't fitting. I said, you're washing them in too hot of water. And no, so, I went to therapy like everybody that, goes to that stuff, and I sent Jenny Craig $2,500, and she sent me a mug. So I like the mug, don't get me wrong. But then I found out I was addicted to food, and that's a real bummer, just like children are addicted to water and air. So, but the wife said, hey, you're getting older, you're getting up there near retirement age, and maybe you should put some zest back in our life. I said, let's see, zest back in the life, okay. So I went down to Lowe's. I used to hate going in there because the stud finders all went off. They're right over by the bastard files. No, hey, don't get me going. So I went in and I bought mirrors, and I mirrored the whole ceiling in my bedroom. Oh my God, the next morning I woke up and went, Jesus, I hope that fat guy doesn't fall on me. She said, no, I had something else in mind, dear. I had something else. So I went down to the pharmacy, and I looked at the pharmacist, and I said, hey, psst, come here. "Have you got Viagra?" He said, "Yes, I do." I said, "Can you get it over the counter?" And he goes, "From here? It'll take 2 pills, but I think I can." He and I have been dating for about 6 months. So, no, I came home and I told my wife, "I can't buy that stuff in person. No. I'm going to have to get it over the internet." She goes, "Oh, the internet. You and that computer. You really like that computer more than you do me." I said, "That's because the computer will still accept a 3 1/2 inch floppy." So I sent away for the Viagra. And man, it took forever for it to get to the house. I called the company. I said, "Where is it?" They said, "Got stolen, the whole first load. We're looking for 3 very hardened criminals." So finally it got to the house. And of course, like everything over the internet, it had no directions. So the first night I took it very slowly and got an unbelievable stiff neck. The next night, I got it into my Rogaine, and I woke up looking like Don King. And then I got it real late, dark one night, in my suppositories. Oh, it gave a whole new name to hard ass. I'm pretty sure I crapped a brick. Yeah. Have you ever looked at the side of the bottle to see what's in there? It's Miracle Grow and Fix-A-Flat. It really has no stiff competition. They have a Viagra for women. It's called jewelry. Seems to work at my house. Yeah. Yeah, I caught my 15-year-old in the bottle, had taken most of the bottle. I got him before he lit his other hand on fire. Stay with me. You have to watch at the bottom of the bottle, though. It does have some warnings. It says, "Warning, the contents of this bottle could cause uncontrollable flatus." Oh, God, just what I want during sex. Or it could cause uncontrollable crapping. Oh, that's just what I want. And it says, "And if you have an erection for more than 4 hours, see your physician." Why, is he gay? I mean to tell you. I have a new cream, though. It's going to be a new male-enhancing cream. It's called, gee, I can't believe it's steroids. And Barry Bonds and I are working on it. I rubbed it on his rookie card. It's already an 8x10. Pretty soon it'll be a wall poster. Kids can put that up. What did he think? It was a laxative. Oh, God, going around second. Around third. Oh, my God, Barry, I think you scored, but you sure smell. Is that steroids? Could that be steroids? Woo! And I don't know how I got in me. That's the really... But now they have Cialis. Cialis with 36 hours of sexual prowess, and it will know when. Wait a minute. First, it doesn't like to be called it. Tiger, gargantuan, big thing, come on up, boy. Up, Simba. But not it. You know, it didn't know when I was younger. Why would it know now? Its head didn't get any bigger. I've never had enough blood to run both efficiently. But the Cialis says it'll know when. I am just sure I'll be in a men's room. No, not now. No, nobody in here excites us. No, down. Or I can just imagine being in church. No, nobody here either. No. This is supposed to be your time, but not now. Gee whiz. It's like we go into the bathroom. There's so much stuff on the wall in the bathroom in here. I just went in there for the articles. Hey, what says, don't look for a joke up here, but you got it in your hands. Whew, I'm a little worried about that. But I do have a Viagra machine. I don't have it perfected yet, though, because every time I put money in it, the handle gets so stiff I can't pull it down. So real bummer. But I just went in for my annual physical. Some of the guys have to go do that, don't they? Yeah. And you know, when you get to that, turn your head and go, by that time you know the doctor pretty well. Pretty well. So I said to him, hey, psst, hey, something happened to a friend of mine. Because apparently everything happens to friends of mine. I know this friend real well. But, and he has bugs. He says, what? Bugs. Down you know where. Bugs. He says, oh, really? Does he mess around? And I said, is he male? Is he 100 miles from home? And I said, no. And he has taken the first line of defense. He bought a can of Raid. And he sprayed the bugs. And he sprayed there too, all over there, yeah. And it didn't kill him. So have you got any idea? So the doctor tells me, yeah. It's a little drastic, but is he pretty hairy? Yeah. He says, well, have him shave half of his butt, light the other half on fire. When they run for the bare spot, get him with an ice pick. I said, don't we have something that's a little less drastic than that? He says, yeah, I have one other idea. Have him run up to a mirror naked, backwards, bend over, and when they jump on the other guy, run like hell. That hasn't worked either. I'm sure the guy got him off a dirty toilet seat. But, no, talking about airplane stories. There we go. We can get back to that. A friend of mine used to fly charter out of L.A. up to, he was taking a friend, or a big fellow, up to Las Vegas for a day of gambling and drinking. I think the big fellow did some of that too. Stay with me. I know you're out there. Okay. He was in a unpressurized 310, it's a double-engine unpressurized airplane, coming back to Los Angeles. They were flying over the hills at a high enough altitude to get above them when the big and large man had to relieve himself. Oh, the pilot was looking around, going for somebody to have him relieve himself, and nothing there. Found a piece of garden hose, said, hey, we're unpressurized, open the window, throw the hose out, and relieve yourself. So he throws the hose out, unzips his trousers, and decides that, forgetting the first rule of physics, air rushing by a hose makes a vacuum. Now he's starting to grow bigger inside the garden hose, which now has a ring around you-know-what. And he is in excruciating pain and can't relieve himself. I just can't imagine calling ahead to the paramedics. I have a guy. He's in the other seat. He's got 4 feet of garden hose hooked to him. Can you imagine the kinky things they thought he was doing in Vegas? What goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. But maybe not that, I gotta tell you. But you know, in our industry now, like any place else, I think we always had those, the security, we just now turned it on. So, but when I go through and beep as the captain, I tell them I don't know if it's my big brass balls or my lead ass. They're not sure either. So, but they do talk about things like that and try to get us to go through security and be just like everybody else. But I think that's just to eyewash everybody else. I think it'd be great if people pay half price, drop them off halfway. If I drop you in Wichita instead of Boston, you'll know pretty soon. Or I'm just going to run one engine. Ladies and gentlemen, on the left side of the aircraft tonight, it's going to be very quiet. If you want to read, be on that side. The other side's going to be really noisy. Come run the hell out of that engine. I mean, run the hell out of it. Because it's the only engine I got running. I got a spare underneath the other wing. I haven't even started up yet. You're going to want to be with me on my last flight when that comes. Because I can just imagine my announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, sit down, strap in, and get ready for the ride of your life. Last night I read the book. I looked at all the charts and the manuals. It says this airplane will do some things I don't think it'll do. But today we're going to try. I think that'd be neat. And I love the traveling public when they walk up to you and go, is this airplane going someplace? No, we're going to tear it apart right here at the gate. This is its last flight. I'm glad it made it. Damn, were you on it? Or when the little lady looks at me and goes, does this airplane come in from somewhere? No, ma'am, we built it right here at the gate last night. 100,000 little illegal aliens built this damn thing. Looks pretty good, though. A lot of parts left over, though. We're going to find out where those go. We landed in Columbus, Ohio, and as we taxied in, the girl said, like to be the first to welcome you to Columbus, Ohio. If you're going on to Washington with us, we'll be here for about an hour. That'll give you plenty of time to get off and spread your legs. People walking by said, "Oh, where'd she go? Cute girl, funny announcement." I go, "She's only got an hour." I'd love to have been on the airplane when they announced that all the doors are equipped with ejaculation slides. Are those old slides, new slides? Go all the way to the ground. Ooh. I went down to Mexico and bought a Rolex. It says on it, self-perpetuating. I had to go home and look that up. What does self-perpetuating mean? It says, shake vigorously and something will happen. Holy crap, I've been doing that since I was 12. But I self-perpetuate with my other hand much better. So I put it on my other hand and I shook it. And the R fell off. Bummer. So then maybe I gotta shake it harder. So I shook it harder. Oh, but a little piece of the X fell off that's right over the E. Now it says Olay. Bummer, I know where that's going back to. No, I will dedicate my set, as I always do, to the people who were flying those airplanes back in September of 2001, on September 11th. They were doing a job that they absolutely love to do. I do have 24,000 hours of flying time. I have been at it for 32 years. I absolutely love what I do. My dad did 51 missions in B-24s and Liberators. I am so glad he came back from World War II, married my mom, and had 5 boys. Myself and then the 4 other guys that were at the house. And I was pretty sure I was a only child until my brother told me I had been adopted. And I went to my mom and dad and said, "Well, they really adopted?" They said, "Yeah, but they brought you back." No. On a serious note, like I said, I will dedicate it to those people who were flying, doing a job that we absolutely love to do. My brother flies, I fly, my dad flew. I have a son that is halfway through pilot training who will eventually maybe go into harm's way. And I feel for him as he is going to off to do that, and I do worry for him, but it is his choice. He's a big boy, he's a grown man now, and as he goes off, I hope he's defending the country somewhere in the world. So for all those people that are out there doing that too, and all the people that were down in Mississippi and got into that mess and that foray, and boy, could we help them with all the things we're sending them, plus the prayers that we can give to them. But I will again leave you with this idea. If you get on my airplane and I'm saying hi to you or goodbye to you, which I think is a very important thing, to say hi or goodbye to the public as they come to fly, because I think it's a very personable thing and not just a machine, because I think the very last thing I'd like to have as an announcement that I would hear would be, out the left side of the aircraft, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see not just 1, 2, 3, or 4, but all 5 parachutes of your crew. Have a nice trip. Have a nice trip. Have a nice trip. Have a nice trip. And they're really automated, but if they get to that point, I don't think I'm going to go or send my family. And I think the flight deck of the future will be just a pilot and a dog. The pilot is going to be there to make sure the computer is doing everything it's supposed to do. And the dog will bite him if he touches anything. And it's going to be a real mean Rottweiler or a Doberman with a little sign around his neck that says, "Touch something, make my day." So yeah, and I'll leave you with this one last joke. I think it's, yeah, we'll leave it with that. You know the difference between making love to a nurse, a school teacher, and a flight attendant? No. Well, I stopped dating nurses because they always try to get the swelling to go down. I said, leave the swelling, take away the pain. No, the nurse says we're going to do this, and it's not going to hurt. The school teacher says we're going to do this until we get it right. And the flight attendant says, put this over your nose and mouth and try to breathe normally. That's my time. I'm Tom Grayson. Please.
Thank you, thank you. Woo! That's a big stage. We splurged. How we doing? All right, man. Good crowd. Everybody's all nice and full. Now you guys are all looking up here like, who let the little homo boy on stage? All right. Getting good, man. No, I don't want to offend you. If anybody out there, if you are gay, say go ahead, be gay, be merry, dance in a parade, decorate my house. You do what you got to do. Just don't hit on me. That's all I ask. A lot of people think I look gay, and I hate that. Because, like one time I was out at this club, cutting rug, dancing the white man style the best I could. And it was kind of late. It was real late. Everybody's all liquored up and stuff. And I had this big, huge guy hit on me, and he's ugly, which at least he could be good looking, so I know if I ever bump my head, however you turn gay, I don't know how it happens, but, I would know, hey, at least I'd have a hot-looking boyfriend, but apparently I'm unattractive to any sex. So, this big, huge guy's hitting on me, and I'm thinking, man, I gotta let this guy down easy, because, I can't go making a big old gay guy mad, can I? I tick him off tonight. I think I'm gonna be gay. That's what's gonna happen. I can only run so fast backwards, my butt clenched together. Let me tell you that. Eventually, he's gonna catch up to me, is what I'm thinking. Oh no, man! I tell you, I am a married guy. I know a lot of you are married. All the married people, let me hear you. Cool. Like Bob had mentioned earlier, that a lot of people were divorced out there. I was divorced once, My first wife and I, we didn't get along very well. We had some differences, I love dogs. Dog lovers? Yeah, when you love your dog, you got to have that other kind of person, I'm a big dog lover, and, she likes screwing my friends, so it really didn't work out very well. There's a little difference there. I had the wrong loyal companion. Same amount of fur, but just different. Anyhow. I don't even know what that meant, but make your own joke right there. Kind of threw that out there for you, see where you were. Actually, I am married. I got married now, apparently, because I didn't like to have sex anymore. Anybody else? Let me hear you. Anybody? Man, I tell you, I don't get it at all. I do this comedy thing, and I travel around a lot. A lot of times I'll be gone for a long time. Like, one time I was going on the road, I had 3 months booked, like, solid, so I wasn't going to be home for 3 months. I was on the road. And before I left, I asked my wife, I was like, can I get a little before I go? Can I get some? It's going to be a long time. And she's like, no. I was like, well, why? She's like, well, it's just bad. I got a gynecologist appointment tomorrow. Did that mess up the pH? What's going on? Is that You pull that out of your little lady handbook on not to get any tonight, huh? So I was kind of like, well, heck, you don't have a dentist appointment, do you? Apparently she did. I don't know. There was a shot. Oh man. I think the main reason why I don't get it is because we decided to start a family, and I remember when we decided to start a family. Well, she was pregnant. That's when we decided. That was a good time. I remember finding out when she was pregnant. We went and got those little sticks you pee on. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. You peed on a few, haven't you, hon? There you go. So, you get these little sticks, and I tell you, if there's anything that a guy can read all the instructions to and will read the instructions to, are those sticks right there. You could build a swing set for your kid and never look at the instructions. It could kill him, but you'll never look at the instructions. But to see if they're happen to be on their way into this world, by God, you're going to read every bit of that. Like, I was reading it all. It's like, it was only like that big, like one by one, but it opened up to be like the world map. They have some little ticked off Chinamen folding these. Oh, yeah, that's Who folds that? It's like that big. Imagine. The person who walked in that, well, this is all couldn't we condense that down? Well, you just fold it to like a little thing and slide it in. But I open this thing up and it's like in 50 million languages. You know what I mean? I'm reading it all, Chinese, I don't know what I'm reading, but I'm reading it. Because by God, there might be something in another language, I might miss it. And if there's this probably only happens probably once in my life that I'll ever hold something in my hand and let someone pee on it. My God, I want to make sure it's done right. It's like the little game at the fair where you're trying to win the thing with a water gun. You know what I'm talking about? Just kind of think of it like that. Keep it on the X. Come on, ding, 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 ding. Look, we want a teddy bear. So, you know, you're like, all right, get it right in the hole. Get it in there. You know? And then they put like these little, like multiple dots. I mean, who thought of this crazy thing? Let's put like 20 dots just to confuse the people. And then let's put one dot that comes up really fast for no apparent reason. And that one comes up like super. We had this one stick, I swear you could like watch the pea come over and it hits the first dot like that. It's like, boop, dot, what's that mean? That just means it's working, I guess, all right. And like an hour later, why did it slow down? Somewhere in there they made it like stop. So where it's like, you know, someone who designed it's like, we could probably make it hit the other dots just as fast. But let's just slow it down in between this little area right there for like a day or two and watch these people sweat bullets. Because don't you? You know, you're looking at a pea-soaked stick on your counter. Is that a dot? What's 3 dots? What's 3? Twins? What is that? That's a bad stick. Because they have like multiples. They come like 2 to a pack because you don't believe that first stick. That's a liar. I'm like, did you use the first P? Was that your first P? Because that's what it said in the instructions. Use your first P because that's a smart P. You used the stupid P, didn't you, honey? You used the P that just didn't know what it was doing. The first P, like, it talks, it asks questions on the way down. I don't know how it gets by there, but it runs by like the old uterus, like, hey, what's going on? Nothing going on in here. I'm gonna go tell the stick now. All right. The other piece just kind of goes by, you know, hey, what's up there, Judy? Judy goes, nothing in here. All right, I'm going, what'd you say? Oh, never mind, I'll get it right. What did he say? I think, I'll just tell the stick there's stuff in there. Nothing like a false stick to make you sweat, huh? Oh, man, but it turned out, you know, actually, you know, she was, and I remember that. I remember those 9 months. Well, it wasn't bad. It seemed like it was hard on her, but it wasn't really bad on me. I had to put up with it, but it really wasn't that bad. I remember when she was in labor, and I wanted to be one of those dads and not be in the room. I want to be like the 50s dad. I want to be like Wart Cleaver, you know what I mean? I wanted to sleep in separate beds, you know, show up to the hospital, and you don't have to be in the room. You know, because now you have to be in the room. It's like law, I think. It's like some sensitive homo guy somewhere said, you know, we need to be there and hold their hands. Fool. What happened there? Why do we have to be in the room? We don't have to be in the room. I was never invited to any of the little visits, huh? My wife said, hey, I'm going to the gyno. You want to catch along? No, I don't. No, I'm never invited to those things, you know. But now suddenly I have to be there, you know, not like outside. You know, outside would have been fine. You know, you wait for the doctor, everything gets done in there, the doctor comes out, it's a boy, y'all high-five each other, it's a good time. You go in, everything's all taken care of. But now since you have to be in there, you know, and all my friends are like, you should be there. Like, no, I really don't want to. Like, you should be there. Come on, you got to be there. This is a beautiful experience. Exactly. Who said that? Who? Is that in a Stephen King book or something? What happened? Trust me, I don't know if you all been through it, but it's not that beautiful. I'm going to be up front with you right now. It's not. Discovery Channel and the TLC, all those kind of clean it up for you. I'm going to tell you that right now. They don't show you the real life thing. But, you know, they all talked me into it, so I remember leaving the bar, you know. I figured, what the heck? Alcohol got me in this mess. Let's give it one shot. See if it'll get me out. I remember heading up to the hospital, walking in the room, and they have my wife there already baby ready, I want to say, you know, legs in the little stir. You know the bed with the leg? That's a nice bed. I like that. You know, they offered me like a car seat for the kid. I'm thinking, you know, I could strap him in. How about that bed? If you want repeat customers, that's what's going to make it right there. Not the car seat. Yeah. I didn't, you know. Because I walk in there, you know, my wife's legs are all like this, and which I didn't think they would stay open that long, to tell you the truth. I figured they'd just eventually slam shut. I didn't know the trick was to, you know, numb her from the waist down and strap them down. I didn't know that was the trick. Better sex life when you're married is epidural. That's what it is right there. If they can make like just an epidural pill thing, man, we're all in, aren't we, guys? Pop, woo, this is fun. No, you know, and she's there, and you know, and I walked in, you know, to the, you know, when I walked in, her legs are open, and you know, she doesn't have like, she's not wearing anything, and then like the muffin's out is what's happening, and I'm thinking, why it's out for everybody to see? That ain't right. I mean, what kind of cheap little HMO plan do I have? I mean, really? I don't know how much a muffin cover costs, but I'm thinking it's not that much. But it ain't that big. A napkin would work, really. Think about it. But, you know, it's just out for everybody. And you know, the janitor must have walked in like a dozen times. Like, dude, you've seen it more in your life than I have right now. Got like one cotton swab. I don't think you need to change it that much, buddy. You know, and there's nurses flying around. There's not one doctor in the room, which I'm thinking, that probably should have a doctor around here, you know? I mean, you know, the nurses were doing everything. I'm like, when's the doctor come? Oh, when it's time. Well, how do we know that? Oh, we will. Like, well, what if it just shoots out? What are we going to do? I mean, I'm not prepared for that, you know? So, you know, finally the doctor walks in, and he takes what I want to call is the sweet spot, you know, kind of in the middle. Probably where he should be, you know what I mean? Because I was kind of on the side there. And, you know, I don't know, this is a good little talk that probably I'm going to have with my kid. Maybe you guys should have with your kids if they're around, you know, the age to have that kind of talk to you. Just say, hey, son, you know what? Someday in your life, you're probably going to have to talk to a man between your wife's legs. Just kind of leave it at that. I would have never thought in my life I'd have to do that. I mean, I was like, wow, man, I've seen these things on HBO, but apparently I'm like a swinger now. Watch out, I'm crazy. You know, so, you know, like, what kind of conversation? How's your golf swing? I don't know, what do you talk about? You know what I mean? He's down there doing his stuff, and then, you know, you're waiting for action, and then there's a lot of heavy breathing and stuff, and things start moving at that point, you know what I mean? And then I remember the doctor going, oh, I could see his head. And I thought, wow, that's your cue to look. No, wrong. If there's anybody in here and you haven't had a kid yet, and you know you might be gonna have a kid here soon, and you know you hear the doctor say that and you think, I'm gonna look, don't. Nothing nice about that at all. I took a look and all I saw was, rah! Pretty evil. Little hissing, spitting monster down there is all that is. You know, and some people videotape that whole thing. Who and why and who would you show that to? I mean, that's not a video you're just gonna whip out on the, you know, housewarming party or something like that. Hey, by the way, you wanna see my, here, come here, I'm gonna pop this tape in, you're gonna see the birth of my child. Everybody would love to see that. Hey, look at that. Hey, look at my wife, there's my wife's vagina, get that big! Show it before, after dinner, I don't know. Probably no time. The only time it would be good to save that, I kind of wish I did, because that would be a great tape to show your offspring there, like right before prom. You want to make sure they don't go to the after party, baby. That tape will do it right there. My kid will go out shaking. Oh my God, is that what it's like? Yep, have a good one, son. Wrap it up. Anyhow. No, and I remember, and then finally my son came out, he comes out there and the doctor's got him and, he holds him up and he's like, you want to hold him? I'm like, no. I want you to wash him. He looks like a cheap canned ham right now. He's got all that jelly on him and stuff. I'm like, that comes off, right? He's not going to be very popular in school, I'll tell you that. He'll be coming home, Daddy, nobody will play with me. Because you're a slimy little bastard. You're leaving snail tracks wherever you go. Good little kid, man. I tell you, and they grow up fast. I remember my son when he's going. Anybody got toddlers? Toddlers? One? That's good. The rest of you have heard of them, seen them, played with them? No. I mean, how old? 1.5. That's a real little one there. So, I remember when my son was going through like the potty training stages, which you're probably right there, and he was going through potty training stages, and I thought I did real well with potty training myself until, one day I was sitting on the couch in the living room, and I hear, hey, Dad, come wipe my butt. I'm looking at my wife like, I think our son's retarded. I'm not sure, but that's not really a hard skill to master. Little wipey, little flushy, it ain't that hard. So I remember, I walked down the hallway, I turned the corner, and here's what I saw right here. Aren't you glad you paid extra for the front seat? So, he's in the position, I'm like, whoa! What am I feeding this kid? And I didn't teach him that little maneuver right there. He's all aimed at me, and I'm in there, and I'm like wiping and flushing and wiping and flushing. And I'm telling him, you really need to learn how to do this. I'm sure he was thinking, yeah, keep wiping, retard, you're doing it. I'm sure, but I think he was one up on me on that little scenario. I mean, really, when in our life did we really want to do that? Woo, Dad, hang on, let me get that. One time, my wife got stuck doing it, and he was getting ready to take like a little bath, and he had emergency doo-doo come up or something. And my wife did it, and she comes out, and here comes this little naked boy, and he's got that, how like little kids, when they got something to say, you can just see it in their face, or they got something to say. And he comes walking up, and as soon as she sits down, he's right there, butt naked, just pointing at him. And we notice he's got like little doo-doo on his fingers. And I'm thinking, uh-oh, it's going to cost me a lot of money in therapy right there. But before we could say anything, he looks right at my wife and goes, you didn't wipe my butt very well. I thought that was hilarious myself. Never did it to me. My boy's got standards. And then I thought, who checks, really? Who checks? What drove him to check it? After she was done and she left him on his little way, he was kind of like... This is unacceptable! I'm taking this to management. good little kid. I have to tell you this too. This happened a while back. He was we moved out here now, and it was like a nice day like it is now. It was kind of cool outside, and all the neighborhood kids were out riding the bikes. So my son was out, got the bikes out, and we built him a ramp. Me and my neighbor, we built a ramp, a pretty good ramp. And he went over it like twice. That's the only time he's ever went over a ramp in his life. It was 2 times. So now he's what? A master. So he's a master now. So he comes up to me, and it's me and my neighbor and their wives, everybody. We're all hanging out in the neighborhood. And he comes up to me and goes, "Hey, Dad, you want to see the jump that scares Mom?" Why, yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Because he's well insured. It's okay. And then he goes, "I call it my jump of death." So now I'm all in. I want to see this jump of death. Because up to this point, I'm pretty sure I saw the only jumps he's ever done in his whole lifetime. Jump of death is probably up in his head somewhere, and I'm sure he's played it out 1,000,000 times. So he drives down to the end of the block. He starts pedaling as fast as he's ever pedaled in his whole life. I mean, he is moving. I'm like, wow, this looks pretty good. Doesn't look like the jump of death, but it's looking pretty good, So as he comes by me, he gives me one of these looks like, I got, like, which, he's got this. So I'm thinking, all right, that looks cool. And as soon as he does this, he takes his feet off the pedals and puts them up over the handlebars. Now I'm thinking, this here is the jump of death. Now I'm all in. You know what I mean? I'm like, and the neighbors are like, wow, and he's moving. He hits the ramp, and he's got some good air, man, and a big smile on his face, happy as can be, and then gravity quickly comes into play, and he comes down pretty quickly, and he hits. And without your feet on the pedal, apparently it's really hard to keep your little booty on the seat. Because you kind of hit and you bounce up, and the bike still goes forward, and you come back down. But luckily, he had a tire there to catch his fall. But unfortunately, he's wearing the wrong riding gear. Loose-fitting shorts is the wrong riding gear. And the tire's really not that soft. And it's traveling at a high rate of speed forward. So as he comes down, he lands on the tire, and he rolls. You know where the handbrake is? Well, there's a little gap in there that you could fit some stuff in. Apparently. All the guys, now I'm on the right page with you, Jay. So he lands, and he rolls in there, and it's got his stuff stuck in there. And it locked up he skid for like that far. Nice little shh. I mean, bike's completely upright. He's just on there screaming the scream you can't scream. You know what I'm talking about? Just... And he's like all tensed up, and I'm like crying because I'm laughing so hard. My neighbors are crying. And I'm waiting for him to get off, but he's still stuck there. Then he's like, my nard! Which I knew what a nard was immediately. It was like stuck. So I walk up to him, and I'm wondering why he was still there. And well, he was what? So I kind of had to back the tire up. And I backed up, and he just immediately fell into the fetal position, because that's what you do. If I just randomly kick some guy there, that's just what you do. No guy goes, poof, oh yeah, kick me again. No one ever does that. You could be like 6 foot million, 300,000 pounds, and kick somebody there, and they're going to be like this big in like 2 seconds. So he's all on the floor just, and I'm like just trying to help him, but I'm like really in pain because I'm like laughing inside, and you know what I mean? You know how your ribs really hurt like after like 3 seconds? Because it's hard to hold that in, because I'm trying to be the good caring parent without like laughing at my kid. But I'm sorry, any injury there is funny. It don't matter if it's your offspring or not. It don't matter, huh? So he's just there, and I finally get him upright, and he's just holding himself, and I limp myself back over to the curb, and I sat down by my neighbors and stuff. Then he walks up to me, just kind of walks right on up, and he's like, oh, and I'm like, it'll be all right, man, you're okay. He goes, no, I think I really hurt it. And he goes, look. How do they look? I'm like, oh, yeah, you need to go show your mom those right there, yeah. He ran in the house, Only a kid. He's a good kid. And then this happened here a while back. We were flying back from Indianapolis. We were flying in here, and my son went. I think you were flying there, Tom. And we hit a lot of turbulence. It was a lot of turbulence. And then finally, you know how you get that for like a long flight? It was like a 4-hour flight, and it kept being turbulence. And he drank like, I don't know, 50, Cokes and stuff, so he really had to go. So finally it leveled out, and the captain let everybody go to the restroom. He went up to the restroom. He's back there for a while, and he finally comes back, and then he's all wet. My son's like, I was like, were you playing in the sink? Because he's that kind of kid, He's my little ADD kid. He got to do everything. You know what I mean? He's a good kid, though. You just got to show him something shiny. If he loses track, something shiny. So, all you got to do for him. Great kid. So he comes back, and he sits down, and his hair's all wet. And I'm like, what'd you do? Wash up, take a bath? He goes, I really don't want to talk about it. So right there, we're going to have to talk about it. And especially when a little 9-year-old goes, you know what, I just really don't want to talk about it. And then he starts doing his own little thing. I'm like, oh, no, we're going to talk about it. What happened? So I hound him for like the next, 45 minutes of the flight. And he goes, okay, I'll tell you, if you promise. He goes, and I know, you can't use it in your act. You can't tell nobody. You see, I keep my word. So I go, what happened? He goes, all right, don't laugh and don't tell nobody. I'm like, all right, I won't. And he told my mom, you too, Mom. I'm like, oh, yeah, counts on, whatever honor. You know what I mean? We're with it. He goes, all right, I peed on my head. How'd you pee on your head again? What were you doing in there? I think it's physically impossible to pee on your head. He goes, well, remember when we hit a little bit more turbulence when I was in the bathroom? I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, it bounced up and he goes, it got in my eye and stuff. And it burnt, so that's why I'm all wet, because I was splashing water in my face, and it's why it's all over me. I'm like, you peed in your eye? You know what, I've been pretty drunk sometimes. I think maybe I've been so drunk people dared me to pee upside down and I've never peed in my eye. A completely little sober kid manages to pee in his eye. I mean, that must have been a hell of a bump, wasn't it? I just see him in there, whoa! I feel sorry for the next guy who went in there after him, huh? He's in there. It's leaking in here. Must be raining outside. Oh man, no, he's a good kid. I tell you though, no, and I love doing this. I love the airports and stuff, like Tom was talking about being at the airport. They did tighten up the security there, though. I think they really did turn on the little metal detectors, because now you have like a little minute piece of metal somewhere on you, it finds it. Used to not be able to, I had to have a set of keys in my pocket and walk through the damn thing. Before, it was fine. All right, that's fine. Now it's like whatever, little rivet on a jean will pick that thing up. And I don't know if you guys ever went through it like 10 times before, because it keeps beeping and the people keep making you go through it, which makes everybody else behind you really, really mad. You ever have that? I had one dude tell me, come on, man, I'm trying to catch a flight. I was like, this ain't the bus station? Been going through this for nothing? Retard, we're all trying to catch a flight. Now they paint little footprints on, now they pull you out of line, they have little footprints, you gotta take your shoes off because some idiot tried to blow his foot out. A shoe bomber, what the hell? Only in America. Other people get some crazy people blow them wholesales up, and here, just blow a foot up. I'm not really dedicated to the whole body thing yet. I'm gonna start with a foot and see how I like it. That doesn't go over real well, I'm just gonna end it with the foot. All the C4 stuff, way too heavy and bulky. I'm gonna light my Nike on fire and see what that happens. What kind of idiot does that? Now we gotta stand barefoot on a pair of footprints the size like 30s. I don't know who they're expecting to come through the airport, but not a guy who's going to fit in those footprints. So I'm standing there, and I'm like this, and they're doing the magic wand thing, the little beep, 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 beep. Now, are they a little too finicky, frisky with that thing, aren't they? I mean, this dude's like, woo. I'm like, all right, here, you're touching them now. I don't know how close that wand has to be, but apparently it has to be real close. I got the pervert, how you like that, little buddy? You know what they need to make that thing do? Vibrate when it finds something. Huh? You'd be like, hey, mama hit a nickel, come on. That'd make for friendly skies, wouldn't it, right there? You have a lot of people. Mine was a silver dollar. Oh, man, no. I tell you, though, and I love traveling. I like traveling around. I like watching. I always end up watching a lot of TV shows and stuff like that. My favorite TV shows are the ones like the true life things, like Trauma, Life in the ER. You ever watch those shows? The best thing about those shows is that they're real, and somebody had to sign a waiver for you to watch them. You know what I mean? They're tragic things, but everybody usually survives. That's a good thing. But I was watching this one. One was this guy, he fell off a rooftop. He landed on a tree, and he had like it went in his, and it was like sticking way out. It was like a tree up his rear end is what happened. And they show him coming into the ER. He's like on all fours. He's got like this much of a tree limb out. You see that one? You know what I'm talking about? It's got leaves on, a little birdie, tweet, 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 tweet. And this poor guy is like this with his whole freak. And then, you know what? Then I was thinking, that was kind of gripping. You know what I mean? Like seeing the whole limb out his rear end like that. But then I thought, how mean were the paramedics who cut him down? Because they could have trimmed it a little closer. The 2 feet of tree with the leaves that they left sticking out of his rear end was just going to be funny. That's all that was. Because they were just like, no, dude, leave it. Because when we roll him into the ER with that, that's funny right there. That sounds like something I would do. No, let's just try to leave the whole... Can we leave the roots? No, we can't? Oh, man, come on. This dude had like, just way out, just leaves and everything. I was like, snip it. I'd have been like, can you snip it close? Cover it up a little bit so no one knows I got a tree in my rear end. And the thing is, this guy signed a waiver. He's like, hey, you want 500,000 people to watch this? Well, what the hell, yeah. Sure, why not? And then this other one I was watching, this guy, he was like a middle-aged pizza delivery guy, so things aren't going great in his life. He's out traveling around, he's got driving his little Honda. You're thinking, things can't get any worse than this. And that's when the car in front of him hits the only piece of steel rebar in like a tri-county area. It shoots up, it goes through his windshield, it goes through the center of his head, and it sticks him to his seat. This guy manages to pull the car over and put it in park. Which I think is amazing, because there's no way that I can do it with all that urine flying around. Because if there's any time to permission to let the fluids fly, it's right there. A bar goes through your head, no one's going to think any less of you for wetting yourself. This guy manages to pull it over, put it in park. And lucky for him, there was a good Samaritan lady behind him that saw him swerve, because apparently when a bar goes through your head, you can't keep it in your own lane. Swerve a little before you park it. So she thought, wow, something must be wrong with this guy. So she pulls up behind him, She walks up to the side window, and she's tapping on it. He liked the look, but he's stuck, so he's kind of like And she's like, you all right? That's what she said. You all right? I think I'd have been like, holy crap, man, you got bars? And he was like, I think I got something in my head. You think? All you had to do was this. Got a bar in my head. Hole in the window. Bar in my head. But she calls the paramedics, and the paramedics rush there. They've never seen this in their whole life, you know what I mean? What do? They just kind of pried him off, the headrest there, and then wrapped it up with a lot of white tape. Apparently that's a medical procedure if you ever come across this. Have a lot of white tape, wrap that head up. And then you put some life preserver looking thingies under her head and wrap that with more tape. And then you rush him to the ER. And they show him coming in the ER, and and he's, they're talking to him, and he's opting for the bar removal. Which I don't know about you, because, if I could walk, talk, see, pretty much got most of my senses, baby, the bar is staying. My luck's not that good. I'll shine it up, put some trinkets on it. I'll go hang out at the mall with all the other little Pierce kids. Like, rock on, Avro, rock on. Tell them little skateboarder kids, what, you ain't into skull piercing yet? Just see how many are around the corner going, ah, ah. 50 gauge, I don't know. But they opt for the bar removal, and they show them in the OR, and there's like a dozen doctors, the best of their field. I'm sure none of them have ever done this surgery before, but they're all top doctors. A lot of them, I think, flew in because they just didn't believe the guy's alive. So they're all in there, and they keep you alive during brain surgery in case they hit the wrong thing. You know what I mean? That's what they do. I mean, I would not be a good brain surgeon because I'd be pressing things. What's that do? Oh, hey, that's funny. Hey, dude. Get down. No. So, and they keep you alive, so they're talking to them. Hey, how you doing? Don't worry, we're going to get through this. One dude's over there flipping through a book. Oh, crap. Crap. Man, I should have got drunk that day. I missed that class. Let's see here. Bar removal. I can't find it. He's alive. Bar removal. Live guy. See, live guy. Then they got another dude. He's on the internet. I can't find nothing. Try Google. I'm Googling. And this other genius surgeon, he just kind of walks up to the guy like, hey, how's it going? Pretty good, yeah. Can you wiggle your toes, man? We did it! And they're all high-fiving and stuff. Then I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool if this healed up where you could see all the way through it? Now that would be cool. Of course, he could never come out on a nice night like this. If you went out and you're partying and you're drinking, next thing you know, you're probably doing shots, and, he'd be doing shots. You'd be like, man, Timmy, you need another shot like you need a hoe. Really do that. And he could never go back delivering pizzas, could he? He'd be out knocking on the door. They'd be looking through the peephole. Hey, I'm Jay Penn, guys. Thank you very, very much. Have a wonderful evening. Tom's coming back up.
Yeah, I'll contact Brian and I'll send it around to get those things. Thanks a lot. Let's hear it for Jay Penn.